looking at the budget consultations, for the beneficiary was given to the unemployment, I've seen that the government has been spent so much of it, millions and millions of dollars. My question, can the government pump more money to the Ministry of Agriculture? Like during the pandemic, sir, the border was closed. The tourists, they did not come to our shore. So people were laid off, working in the hotels. The FAC, sugar, even the gold mines were closed, even the supermarket. The only ministry in the government that we know that it was running during the pandemic time was the Ministry of Agriculture. The reason why I'm standing up, sir, the money that was given, I think it's 5 times. And the government spending millions and millions of dollars. Can the government spend more money on the Ministry of Agriculture and try to enlighten the minds of the farmers or the peoples of Fiji by giving the money, the beneficiary for the unemployment? Does it do good to the government? What in return? My point, sir, we as a farmer, we are lining up in the common machinery like the digger because we can afford. It costs us $28 an hour if the digger is used. But if we go to the private and we try to hire the digger, because the fuel price is going up, it will cost me about $95 an hour. So I can't afford in this point of time. So can the government, sir, help us to purchase more digger, and which is the one that we can afford at this point of time, to help us, like we are trying to utilize more land, but we don't have the capital to work. For $28, I believe that we can afford. For $95, it's quite difficult this time. So I asked the government, is it possible? Because the only ministry that was up running during those days, the government even advised people, go back and utilize the land. Until now, sir, I believe the government did not get any return if we just keep on giving money to the beneficiaries, because they just go spend the money. Rather, if the government uses it to the agriculture so people can afford, then we go and plant and we bring more products. Maybe we can help the government. Even myself, sir, that we are trying to fight poverty in our country. And I believe the best thing that we can do is just pump more money to the Ministry of Agriculture, enlighten the minds of the farmers or the people of Fiji, and maybe we can just go back and utilize the land. Because I know the Ministry of Agriculture was the only ministry was up running during that time. Everything was closed down, but everybody able to survive, keep them afloat during those days. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so thank you for that. I mean, this is something that we obviously have been thinking about also in respect of access to machinery. And you're absolutely right. Even before the fuel price increase, if you go and hire government machinery, it's $28 an hour. If you go to the private sector, it's about $90, even $100, depending where it is. So how can you get more machinery out there? And the other point also, sometimes we've got complaints where, you know, like up Singatoga Valley, there's a government tractor there, or, you know, some other machinery. If the driver is sick for the day, then it doesn't work, right? So the machine is there, but it's not working. Or for example, some tractor in a remote place, some part breaks down, or, you know, goes bad, and it takes 2-3 weeks to fix it up. So those are some of the challenges obviously we're currently looking at, and what we can do to make it easier for the farmers. Because, I mean, you're absolutely right. Minister for Health and Permanent Secretary for Health would argue and say they were also up and running during the COVID. But my point being that you're right, I mean, agriculture is the way forward. A couple of things you have to be mindful of is that, I don't know if you were here earlier on, I was mentioned in the introduction. I was in a meeting on Saturday night, and somebody's complaining that he does not get enough money for the price of cassava. Too many people growing cassava now in certain areas. So we also have to be, as a farmer, you need to be, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. You're not running a charity. So you have to make sure that you have some smart business decisions too, that you're growing the right crop, and you're not sort of flooding the market with the price will come down. Somebody said to us about a week ago, they said, oh, you know, the price that I'm getting for my cassava or some other product, he said is very low. So I want AMA to buy it all. So I said, okay, if AMA buys it at a higher price, what will AMA do with it? He said, I don't care, throw it away, but I want the money. You know what I mean? So we have to be, we have to be mindful. When we started giving seedlings, as you know, to backyard gardens for people to grow their own vegetables in their yards and all of that, the farmers also got a lot of seedlings too. A lot of farmers are giving seedlings. No. But I'm saying just that you talked about getting people used to the idea of culture, of farming. So it starts there. You see, because I remember even when I was in school, if somebody did not do well in school, the teacher would say, "What? You want to become a farmer?" You know what I mean? The whole attitude was wrong towards a farmer. Farmer was a profession that's looked down upon. If you could not do anything, just go and become a farmer. You do some thing, people do not think commercially. The other issue with the reason why agriculture sector in Fiji did not grow for years was because the laws prohibited leases for more than 30 years for agriculture. Right, so if you went and leased some land tomorrow, Itoke land or even government land, I'm talking about previously, the state nor the TLTB would give you land for more than 30 years for agriculture. But for tourism, residential, commercial, industrial, you get 99 years. That's why in Fiji you never saw large-scale commercial farming. Because if you got a 99-year lease agriculture lease tomorrow, say you got 50 acres, you can actually go to a mainstream commercial bank and they will lend you money. You want to buy your own excavator, your own tractor, because they can use the land as security. You get a 30-year lease, nobody's going to touch you. Or 20-year lease, or 15-year lease. So the laws now changed. So TLTB can give up to 99 years for agricultural lease. I know some of the TLTB guys don't want to, but need to think commercially also. 99-year lease commercial for agriculture purposes is good, because a lot of people can do commercial farming. That's one issue. I think, and that's a very critical issue, because that way then people get more surety in respect of that. But I hear what you say, and that's something, in fact, we've been having discussions around that at the moment. We've asked agriculture for some details. So we want to know exactly, for example, in the Tailevu area, how many farms are there, say for example, doing ginger, whatever type of crops they have. How many of those farms need access to machinery? Some may not, some may do. What type of machinery? Is it excavators? Is it tractor? Is it, the diggers or whatever it is? Is it graders? We're trying to get all the information from them. Once we get the information, then we can better plan for the budget to say, okay, this is the kind of allocation we can make. And even if we get the private sector, right? If we get the private sector, for example, and we may have to fork out some more money, we can say to the private sector, we don't want downtime. You must be up and running all the time. And then you may still pay us $20, but we may be paying them $100. So you subsidize, we may need to pay the balance. You know what I mean? The same way with sugarcane farmers. Sugarcane farmers, the bag of fertilizer before the pandemic was $45.65. The sugarcane farmer pays $20, we pay $25.65. Now the same bag of fertilizer is going up to $80. They're still paying $20, we're paying $60. You know what I mean? That's something that we're looking at, because we also recognize that in the next couple of years we can build a lot of capacity in the farming sector. Then it will create a culture of farmers. Yes and no, because there's a lot of private importers too, exporters from Fiji, as you know. Dalo Kasawa, you've got bench trading and all these guys, they'll come and buy. So the pricing is very, very important. I was talking to a lady last week in Sabu. She said that before how Australia has now lifted up the ban on Yamona? Now you can take more. She said she used to sell in Melbourne $320 a kilo for Yamona. She used to take it from me, said $320 a kilo. Now because Australia lifted up the ban before that arrangement, she's now selling for $40 a kilo. A lot of people are bringing it in the market. You know what I mean? So these a lot of these biosecurity things, the arrangements we have can change the dynamics of the price. AMA is 100% government funded. So when they go and buy somebody's dalo, cassava, daruka, whatever it is, that's actually taxpayers' money buying. If you're going to use taxpayers' money to buy the cassava and then throw it in the river because nobody else wants it, it's a waste of money too. So, there's a lot of things at play. We've got somebody at the moment that agriculture is working with to set up a flour mill to make flour from cassava. If that happens, that'll be great. There's a lot of export opportunities for that. A lot more people want to buy flour, cassava flour. Some restaurants will use it, to cook the fish, all those kind of things. If you make bread from cassava flour, 100% cassava flour, you can bounce the bread. It will be hard. But if you can, they're doing some studies. If you can mix normal flour with maybe 20% cassava flour, you'll get the right texture of the bread. So those are the kind of things that we worked out. But I agree with you regarding the machinery, and we certainly are looking at that.